Okay, here's your syllabus. I'm Mrs. Shires again, and 134A is the keyboard lab. We're across from the practice rooms in Snow Fine Arts, and I am there on Tuesdays and Thursdays only. Usually Mrs. Franklin will be there on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. She can answer questions too if you happen to stop by, but if you need to talk to me and ask me questions, my email is the best way, tshires@uca.edu. You can read through this on your own on Google Classroom. I'll just point out a few things. This is the book you need. So it's Alfred's Group Piano, Book 1, not Book 2. That one's for levels 3 and 4. So Book 1 is what you need for level 1 and level 2 if you go on to level 2. We need you to have headphones of your own to bring to class each time. It's a little more sanitary. I do have some extras in the room, so don't panic if you forget yours one day. We can clean some off. You also need a keyboard to practice on and have in your room. This is just in case we go all online. We need you to have something to be able to work with, to send videos for assignments, etc. And class policies, this is mostly university policy material that you can read on your own. On the second page, we have 3 tests, and 40% of your grade, almost half, is just based on participation quizzes, basically. You'll send in some are performance for grades, some of them are for pass-fail, and I grade with numbers usually in a numerical system, so you can see exactly what you missed. Like if you missed dynamics on a piece, I might take off 10 points, and then you know why I gave you a 90 instead of just kind of wondering what the heck. If you miss more than 3 classes, that's the reason for these kind of strict grading absence policy, is because we do about a chapter a week. And if you miss more than 2 classes, really, you're getting way behind. So that's why we have this strict policy. Obviously, though, if you do need to be quarantined, email me and let me know, and I can have you attend class only by Zoom. So that's fine. If you're sick with COVID, email me and we will make a plan for your classwork. We'll figure it out as we go along. This semester is going to be new for everybody, so we'll have to be a little bit flexible, and just be patient with me as I try to figure it out too. When you submit video work on your own, just make sure at the beginning I can see your face, and then I need to see your hands on the keys, obviously, or both if you set your phone or your video, whatever, in a certain spot. So announce your name and your test material. This is kind of what I want to do for our first quiz. So if you could just record yourself saying your name and where you're from, what your major is, and if you're a music major, what's your main area. And if you have anything else you want to tell me about yourself that would be helpful to know, or what you were hoping to learn, or a fun fact, that would be great too. So that will take you all of 10 seconds, hopefully. You can do a video, you can record it audio and put it on Google Classroom, or you could just write it out. You can just write me a little 10 sentences or something about yourself. Anyway, so that's kind of the first assignment. So submitting something, either video or audio, just telling me your name, where you're from, and all that. So looking at the book, since a lot of people do not have the book on the first day of classes, I found, I'll just go ahead and go over some of it like this. I thought it'd be easier for our first class meeting. So at the beginning of your book, when you do get it, you can read on your own some, but they're showing you how to hold your fingers on the keys. If you pretend you're holding a ball, if your hands are really relaxed, they want to curve. So when you put them on the keys, we want to play on this part of our fingers rather than going flat, because that's kind of tense looking, isn't it? So you should be really relaxed with your hands. One way I tell people to begin learning is if you make fists with your hands and stick them back to the name of the piano or the keyboard, if you have one. And if you're not bending your elbows, you're sitting at the right spot. If you bend your elbows, then you must be too close and you'll need to scoot the bench back. And if you're having to stretch over, then you're too far and you need to pull yourself up a little bit. So finger numbers, they show you there. Our thumbs, I don't know if you can hear my cat, I'm at home. She's mad that I'm leaving her out. We have 5 number of fingers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Thumbs are always the ones. And then there's some basic note things, which I'm sure most of you probably already know all of that. And some rhythm exercises I probably will skip. Yeah, I think probably this first chapter is very simple. We usually skip a lot of the pages. But if you have any questions on it, you know, ask me anytime. So naming the white keys, you could always dog-ear this page if you're not sure for a while where your notes are on the keyboard. But middle C, right in the center of your piano, is usually underneath the name of your piano if you're on a piano. Some of you may just have keyboards, so it might be a little harder to find, but it's right next to the 2 black keys in the centermost part of your piano keyboard. So that's middle C, and that's the one we kind of use to go on for all the other notes. C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. So you notice all the C's before the 2 black keys. The D's are in between. All the E's are on the outside. F's, my piano's out of tune, sorry. So that's how you find your way around the keyboard. So these are always C's. There's B, A, G, F, etc. And that's what they're going over there. I was just showing you octaves, by the way. So from 1 C to the next, that's an octave. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's where we get oct, 8. Okay, I'm gonna go on in your book. So I'm looking now more like page 19. I'm skipping all the way to page 19. So if you don't have your book, you can just look at this here. Sharps and flats involve the black keys. So if you wanted to sharp a note, like here's F, and I wanted F sharp, I would raise it a half step and play that black key instead. So if it had that little number sign or a hashtag in front of it, that would be the black key, F sharp right there. And we'll do more of this later, so don't worry if it doesn't make sense right now. And likewise, if you want flats, flats go down. So like this is the note B, and that would be B flat. So it's right there, little kind of tiny B sign. So flats go down like flat tires, and sharps go up a half step. There are a couple of weird spots on the keyboard where it's not quite going to a black key. It's right here, the B to the C. There's no black key in between. So if you wanted a B sharp, you would have to use the C key. I know that's kind of odd, but this is one reason why a lot of people start with keyboard learning music, because you can kind of see why these intervals, how they work like this. Whereas if you're on an instrument, it might not make sense. Why is an E sharp the same note as an F? Why? And you can see on the keyboard it's because there's no black key there. We have to use that key. Now, after saying that, we rarely see those. They're not very common. They're mostly really hard key signatures. We'll try not to do very many of those. All right, and you know, I don't know why they have the chromatic scale here, because we don't do that till the end of the book. I'm not sure why it's there. And then page 21, there's your staff. 5 lines, 4 spaces. If you get stuck, here's treble clef. It used to be a cursive G a long time ago. It should curl around that line where the note G comes from. And that's the G right above middle C, right there. So it's notating the G above middle C, and this will mostly be your right hand. So it'll be mostly notes middle C on up. You can see I do a lot of glass, stained glass in my free time. That's what all this is. It's kind of a mess. And then you could always do every good boy does fine if you want to remember that little saying for the lines. And the spaces spell the word face, F-A-C-E. In the bass clef, that used to be a cursive F a long time ago. It doesn't look really anything like it anymore, but the dots on the bass clef go around the F line, and this is the F below middle C. So essentially, bass clef is going to take middle C and down. All right, and here, I probably will stop right here for this time. Page 22, the grand staff. Look over that.